Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Imagine being a historian 100 years from now trying to figure out what happened here. A football army known as the Stroud Boys have gathered in arms to demand that C.J. Stroud be recognized as an elite NFL quarterback. There are estimated to be 10,000 Stroud Boys in Washington. Their leader, D'Amico Ryan, stated that the Stroud Boys' exact intentions are unclear at this time, but they insist on restoring justice to the division as soon as possible.
This fellow's being called the chillest dude in America.
There's a pass. Beautiful ball.
We talking about sports, get ball.
What it do, baby?
Yeah. What it do, you number one podcast listeners? You have tuned in to another edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee. I'm your host, Premal Bhatt, joined by my co-host, Big Bro, Big Cuz, Roshan Bhatt. What up, man?
Ready to go, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, we're going to make this a NFL playoff preview edition. So hopefully you number one podcast listeners dig the content. We're going to go through each matchup, our picks, the whole nine, and wrap up the NFL regular season while we're at it.
Yeah, we're going to keep it focused, which is something we don't usually do.
Yeah, famous last words. If we don't keep it focused, then pretend we didn't say that. We will double and triple down. We were prepared either way.
It doesn't matter. Yeah, we got it.
But first, let's hear from our sponsor for this episode, Game Master Monday.
At last, I have reached the tallest peak in all the world, where the wisest person lives. Finally, I'll get the answers I seek.
Welcome. I am the wisest person in the world. Ask me your question.
What is my purpose in life? What should I be doing to achieve pure happiness?
You must stream Game Master Monday.
Come again.
Game Master Monday, the bi-weekly podcast that plays a new one-shot in a new system in a new setting with a new cast every episode. Listening to their funny jokes and wild stories is the only path to happiness, my child.
Sick. I'm going to go home and binge the whole thing right now.
What a nice kid. Oh dear, he fell off the mountain. Now they'll never know how good Game Master Monday is.
All right, you number one podcast listeners. So if you're unfamiliar with this genre, Game Master Monday plays a new TTRPG one-shot in a new system with a new cast every episode. Join some of your favorite podcasters, actors, and performers through hilarious stories and semi-annual miniseries. I personally know the host of Game Master Monday, Grant. He is such a great dude, great friend. He's been on Prem Brulee before. I've been on his podcast before. That includes Game Master Monday. I was on it twice for a series called Executive Decision. Had a lot of fun doing it. And for those unaware, TTRPG means tabletop role-playing game. Think like, I guess like Dungeons and Dragons, but in this new age and not quite always medieval or whatever that genre is, science fiction-y. For example, Executive Decision was based on president and his cabinet, so we played roles within the president's cabinet in it. So whole bunch of different things, but we love to support Grant. Grant supported us, shown us love, and truly a good dude. So check out his podcast, Game Master Monday. Go subscribe, leave a good review, give it a chance if you haven't before. It's very entertaining. So you already know, the number one TTRPG podcast for the number one podcast in your headphones. We only align with the greatest.
You already know.
Yes, sir. Okay, Roche, so you had the idea, the NFL playoff edition. Perfect concept for an episode heading into what matters most in football, the playoffs. And we're entering the wild card weekend, so a lot to talk about here, especially with that the end of the regular season. But you number one podcast listeners, you know how we like to get started, our yeah fam or nah, and we'll try to breeze through these so we can get to the preview. First up, talk of the town, yeah fam or nah, the Saints running up the score on the Atlanta Falcons. So quick setup here in case you weren't tuned into the riveting NFC South matchup that was the Saints versus the Falcons in that sorry-ass division. The Saints were up 41-17, and they had a pick that was returned to the 1 yard line. Already up 41-17, game pretty much over. their head coach, Dennis Allen, called victory formation to kneel the ball. They were in that formation. Apparently, Jameis Winston and the offense audibled and ran a touchdown for their running back, Jamal Williams. It was his first touchdown of the year. The now fired head coach of the Falcons, Arthur Smith, was, let's put it, salty. He had words for Allen after the game. You can very clearly see him dropping multiple fucks at Dennis Allen. So he was not happy. So before I get your stance, I'm going to go first on this one. I'm a nah.
All right.
Nah to them pulling this move. I hate it. I hate this move. First of all, you play this team twice a year, so be prepared for that retaliation. And short of injuring someone, which I never condone, anything's fair game to me, and I'd be pissed. If I was a Falcons player, I would be out for blood, so to speak. It serves no purpose to get another touchdown there. Obviously, they knew that because 41-17, 48-17, blowout either way. But they were trying to get Jamal Williams a TD. Maybe just try to do that in the first 17 fucking games. Maybe, just maybe, the touchdown leader from last year could have helped you win an easy division sooner. I don't know. The guy you signed because he scored all those touchdowns for the Lions last year might have been useful before that. Not when you pull that bullshit move. So after the game, because at that point in the game, Jameis Winston was in. They were up so big, their backup quarterback was in. Derek Carr had already been pulled. Jameis said it was a team decision, which no, it wasn't, because it couldn't have been a team decision since the coach called a different fucking call. So by definition, it's already not a team decision. It was a you and 10 other players on the field decision at probably best. That's probably conservative. You mean it was an offensive decision. So that's the team? That's what we're talking about? I mean, think about it. Do you think a coach is ever going to fully trust a guy like Jameis? He already throws picks like it's his job. And now you want to show up your own coach and the other team. And then he had the audacity afterwards to say he's got a lot of respect for Arthur Smith and his coach. I mean, that's like saying no disrespect, but you're an asshole. It doesn't just give you a free pass to say whatever the fuck you want. Your actions prove the exact opposite. The math ain't mathin'. And listen, I get it's pro ball. Everybody says, if you don't care, just stop them. If that's the fucking case, how about you line up in a regular formation and run the ball? They lined up in victory formation and snuck in a run while the defense is told to take it easy and basically in retreat formation. So you snuck in a run call. If you really wanted to, line up in a real fucking formation and let them play defense then. Like, I get it's professional athletics, and if you want to stop them, but that play wasn't in the spirit of competition. And also, sportsmanship isn't exclusive to amateur athletics. I'm sorry, it isn't. So, I'm a nah to this. What do you got? Are you nah? Yeah, fam? Cool with it?
So, I mean, I think you made a lot of good points. Overall, I'm a yeah fam because I honestly don't care about like running the score up. I think more teams actually do need to run the score up. Okay. It's always kind of funny to me. These are players that get paid millions of dollars. So, I mean, you know, the common argument is if you don't want them to score 48, don't let them score 48. Sure. Fair enough. It's also like, yeah, he picked it off and was downed at the 1. He could have just as easily scored and run the score up that way. So, I mean, either way you look at it, it's a whatever move, and the Falcons played like shit. What I don't like about it is it's the last game of the season. Like you said, there's a lot of injury implications to doing shit like this. It's just kind of reckless in general. I think it's like, and obviously this is an emotional game for a lot of people. Arthur Smith, who did get fired, and rightfully so, he was a goddamn awful coach. He was pissed, and it's like it's kind of shitty because in his mind he probably knew that was like the last minute he was on the field for the Falcons, and it's kind of like, mired in this like dog shit move by, like a very unsportsmanlike move.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a good sentiment too that they wanted to get Jamal Williams his touchdown, but again, yeah, like you said, he had all fucking year. The dude had like 55 touchdowns last year. Like, I don't know how many he had, but as the touchdown leader, you think he would have gotten one at least. I mean, it's not. It seems a little YMCA what Jameis said. Like, we just wanted to get him a touchdown. It's like, okay, well, it's all wrong timing. I think overall, I don't care, but I think it could have just been done so much better. And it, like, because it was the last game of the season, I think that's why it was so fucked up.
Yeah.
Yep. And it was almost like just fucking pissing on a grave of a guy's head coaching career or head coaching job or whatever. Just seemed very classless. And I mean, good on Dennis Allen for going on and apologizing. I know Sean Payton would have probably done the same thing. Not apologize. He probably would have run the score up. He was notorious about being a dickhead. So maybe this was... And, the team, kudos to them. They did double and triple down. I saw them all over Twitter. All the team members on the offense were, like, supporting Jameis. And it's like, you kind of have to at this point. It's like...
But
keep the same energy.
In the meantime, they're making their head coach look like shit, by the way.
For sure. And I mean, the counterpoint to it was, like you said, it wasn't a team decision. It was an offensive decision. This maybe speaks to a bigger issue. Like, does this coach not have this team? Like, does he not have the locker room?
Yeah.
Like, that seems very fucked for an entire offense to just be like, nah, we're not going to listen to this guy. Like, that seems insane to me. Like, 11 guys went on Twitter today and were like, nah, we stand with Jameis. Like, what the hell?
All right.
It's like, you guys are... I mean, the NFL pays pretty well, man. You guys might want to watch it. So,
no kidding.
It's kind of a toss-up. I don't think I'm, like, entirely a yeah or a nah fan to this.
Yeah.
But I think I'd probably lean a little more nah fan. But, the college football 10% fan in me, I'm always like, run that score up. Who cares?
Yeah, I get it. Anyway, now that we moved on from that, we still got a few things to cover, and you played yourself, obviously, to wrap up the season. There's a lot to discuss there. But I did want to get to the NFL playoffs because let's focus on the good of the season. So the NFL playoff field is set. Here's what it looks like. In the AFC, the Baltimore Ravens secured the number 1 seed in the bye. They rested their players in Week 18. So it'll run through Baltimore. The number 2 seed in the AFC is the Buffalo Bills. They'll play the 7 seed Steelers. The 3 seed is the Kansas City Chiefs. Familiar faces out of those. They'll play the Miami Dolphins, the 6 seed. And the 4 seed is your very own Houston Texans, who will play the Cleveland Browns, who are the 5 seed. Over in the NFC, the San Francisco 49ers got the 1 seed in the bye. They also rested their players in Week 18. The 2 versus 7 matchup is the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers. The Cowboys secure the NFC East in Week 18, and the Packers are back in again. They won in the final week to get in, and familiar foe for the Dallas Cowboys. The 3 seed is the Detroit Lions. Probably still, they could have been the 2 seed had it not been for some officiating. More on that later. They'll play the Los Angeles Rams, who are the 6 seed. And then the 4 versus 5 matchup, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won the very difficult NFC South and get a home game versus the Philadelphia Eagles, who are banged up from Week 18. Jalen Hurts had a dislocated finger. A.J. Brown got hurt. I think he's going to be okay, is the rumor. So definitely limping into the playoffs. Okay, so we're going to preview each matchup, obviously, but yeah, fem or not, to just in general the playoff field, and if you have any standouts from the end of the season specifically that resulted in this field.
Bro, how could I not be a yeah fam to a 3-13-1 team being in the playoffs? Yeah, I can't believe the Texans are a playoff team. I I don't know if you remember, I was like, if we get 5 wins this year, we're on the right track.
Yep.
We doubled that. We have more wins this season than the last 3 seasons combined, which is fucking insane. Just to show how bad we've been. My family is season ticket holders, and we sold them shits. Like, because obviously COVID had a lot to do with that. I also moved cities, so there was a business decision first and foremost.
Yeah.
But, it says a lot that you're willing to let go of that in the first place, because you're just so shocked at the trajectory of the team, and then in one offseason, it seemed like they fixed everything, and that does not happen. That's so rare. I'm glad it happened to my team, so that's all I got to say about that. Other than that, I think the field's nice. I don't think there's really, outside of the Bucks, I honestly don't think there are any truly like shit teams.
Yeah.
And I don't think the Bucks are that bad.
No.
There's always like some like 7-9 or whatever team that gets in and hosts a playoff game. Even the NFC South winner, which is a pretty shit division, I think the Bucks are the best team in that division. So, I think they could definitely, they could
it seemed like the right team won that division
for sure. Because and so I'm a huge Yeah fan. What about you?
Yeah, I'm a Yeah fan. I agree with all your points. I think the field is really competitive this year. I know the 49ers and Ravens have been far and away the best teams, but you're right. Even the teams that kind of snuck in are red hot. Like I look at the Packers, they are firing on all cylinders at the end of the year. Like Jordan Love's stats the second half of the year are ridiculous. It feels like all of a sudden he came into his own, and those young receivers are speedy and running all over the place. So and then you think about it, I think about this, like if before the season I told you 3 AFC North teams would make the playoffs, that's very believable. But the idea that
for sure
the one that didn't is the Cincinnati Bengals is crazy to me. That sticks out to me. And
absolutely
the AFC, obviously, other than the Texans, which were, a welcome surprise, super likable group of players. They're young. It's like a really easy team to root for with D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud leading those teams, and Will Anderson. It's cool to see when teams like really hit on a draft and how much of a difference it can make immediately. Not only that, but making right front office decisions and coaching decisions clearly. The other interesting point is like in the AFC, we ended up with kind of chalk teams, but it was a weird path to get there. Like you see the Ravens, Bills, and Chiefs at the top, and you're like, oh, these are familiar. But if you like the Bills, more on these later, but the way each of them got to this point is kind of wild. So I don't want to talk about too many of this too early, but I'm a fan of this. The storylines are crazy, and we're going to talk about that here coming up. So you number one podcast listeners, Roche and I talked about how we're going to format this NFL playoff preview, and I think we came to a nice little format that honors the structure of our podcast being rapid fire category form. So what we're going to do for you number one podcast listeners is we're going to go in order of the playoff schedule. So when these teams play this coming weekend, and what we're going to do is I'm going to cover a couple quick headlines, and Roche, I'm going to kick it to you each time. You're going to pick a team and tell me what the key is for them to be victorious after Wild Card Weekend. It can be an X factor, whatever, a key factor that'll lead to them being in the winning column. And I'll pick the other team.
All right.
And I don't know which team you're going to pick each time. I mean, I have an idea on at least this first matchup. But sure. Outside of that, we'll make our pick. So it doesn't matter if you pick one team to talk about and they're not your pick, it's all good. So you're not locked into picking.
Sure.
All right. So without further ado, you number one podcast listeners, first up in Wildcard Weekend is your Houston Texans, Roche, the 4 seed.
Already, baby.
Are playing in NRG. They are facing the Cleveland Browns, a 5 seed. The Texans, as you mentioned earlier, they went from 3-13-1 last year to 10-7 and division champs. That Saturday night game against the Colts was electric. It was really fun watch, and they handled their thing. A rookie head coach, a rookie quarterback. They're both seem like pretty good candidates for coach and rookie of the year respectively. Those two being D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud. The Cleveland Browns have withstood a ton of injuries, to put it lightly. They've gone on an incredible run thanks to Joe Flacco, who they signed off the street. That was after Deshaun Watson's season ended. I think he had a shoulder injury. They had already lost Nick Chubb the first game of the season. I mean, crazy storylines. Flacco's been a great addition for specifically Amari Cooper and David Njoku. And obviously the Browns defense speaks for itself. They have a ridiculous, I think I saw a stat that they've forced the most punts in the league, and something crazy like they're up on the top of the list for most punts forced with some legendary defenses, like 99 Ravens level. That's how many punts they force. So anyway, just those are the quick notes. You take it away, pick a team, and give me a key to victory.
First of all, shout out to D'Amico Ryans, man. The guy has energized an entire city. I'm sure, like most people, casual fans of the NFL, are noticing a lot more coverage of the Texans than years past. Even honestly, when Watson was here, I think Stroud just has this like electric feel to him. We had 0 primetime games this year, so the game against the Colts, which is essentially a playoff game, was the first primetime game that the Texans had, and pretty much every Houston talking head was like, is CJ built for this? And sure, he's been in big games in college and all that stuff. Like, we saw him carve up, go Bucks, saw him carve up, some pro defenses. But he was fucking awesome. He was composed, poised. He didn't look rattled even the least bit. So shout out to him. Shout out to the Texans. Really looking forward to what happened. Like, everything now is house money. So whatever happens is going to be awesome. Even if we get blown out like 31-7, I'll be like, we're not even fucking supposed to be here. So whatever. So I'm obviously going to pick them. Their key to winning is these two teams played each other no more than 6 weeks ago. Stroud was actually out. He missed that whole game because of a concussion. So we threw out Case Keenum, and we didn't have a run game because they wanted Case Keenum to beat him, and he's not going to do that. So the key is a run game. If they can establish any sort of run game that isn't 1 to 2 yards a carry, I think they got a good shot of winning this game. Because Stroud's hard to defend. Stroud is better than Flacco. So, I mean, that's the key. If they establish a run game, Stroud's going to have fun.
Yeah.
Let that man cook.
Yeah. It's easy for me to say. I mean, I know a lot of Browns fans and love to you all, but you guys are not my family, so I'm rooting hard for the Texans for my family. And, of course, we ride with CJ Stroud. But
for sure,
in the interest of covering both teams, I think I covered a little bit in the headlines, so I won't go too much into that. I think the key is going to be the Texans defense forcing a turnover or two on Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco seems like every throw is either the most beautiful long touchdown or a famously flamed out interception. So I think the Texans forcing turnovers is going to be huge. The other thing, I mentioned it earlier, Flacco loves targeting Njoku and Cooper. I think you make Flacco take the ball elsewhere, and the Texans have a shot. And obviously, you want to see that CJ Stroud and the Nico Collins connection go off again, because that seems like their recipe to win. Would love to have seen, speaking of injuries too, we can't shortchange the Texans. Tank Dell would have been a huge bonus if they had him. He was huge for him all year, so want to give love there. Okay. Next up on the playoff schedule is staying in the AFC. These are the 2 Saturday games, just FYI. The 3 seed Kansas City Chiefs have the 6 seed Dolphins come into Arrowhead to face them. The Dolphins somehow lost the AFC East. I'm still not sure how it happened.
So congratulations.
They are limping into the playoffs, like literally and figuratively. They've had Jalen Waddle out. Mostert's missed the last 2 weeks. Tua doesn't look good lately. He is so hot and cold. Like some games he just can't miss, and other times it looks like he is throwing pop flies to the other team. The Dolphins have had a ton of late season injuries, including on the defensive side of the ball. They lost 2 huge pass rushers. They lost Jalen Phillips and Bradley Chubb at the end of the year. That's going to make a huge impact. The Chiefs don't look like the same Chiefs, but here they are again. You know, I mentioned it at the top. It's the similar teams at the top of the seeding in the AFC, but it doesn't feel the same. And that's mostly, I feel, the wide receiver group on the Chiefs, obviously. So go ahead, pick your team here, and I'll cover the other.
As much as I'd like to see the Chiefs lose, I don't think they're going to lose. Like you said, I think for the Dolphins, they have a lot of injuries. So I think I'll pick the Chiefs, not only to win, but as my X factor for them. I think their defense has to get to Tua. Tua's so mistake prone. If they have a good pass rush, they're gonna destroy the Dolphins. Mahomes is built for games like this. This is essentially a nothing game for him. I don't see them getting past the divisional round, but I don't think the Dolphins are a threat to them.
Also, Mahomes has never had to play a playoff game away from Arrowhead, and if they win, he would potentially have to do that. So I'm going to cover the Dolphins, and I mentioned some in the headlines, but I think the key to them being competitive is they need Jalen Waddle in the lineup, and they need Mostert, because that frees up Tyreek. It lets them spread the defense. When they can focus just on Tyreek Hill, Tua looks like shit. He needs the full complement of his offense for them to do anything. And I think on the defense side of the ball, they got to focus everything on Kelsey and make the Chiefs wide receivers beat them. I think it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
They got the corners for it, too. Jalen Ramsey's probably going to have no issues with whoever he faces on the wide receiver core of the Chiefs. So interested to see this. The storylines are kind of cool. Tyreek Hill returned to Kansas City, and both teams kind of don't look super impressive, so we'll see what happens.
And even the storyline in the first game, it's too bad Deshaun's not playing. That'd be fucking awesome.
But they weren't, honestly, alternate universe. Do they make the playoffs if Deshaun was still playing? He didn't look particularly great.
He was playing like dog shit. No, he was playing like shit.
They do have the defense, so that solves a lot of problems. You don't need to do too much for the Browns. But by the way, we never. I like the Chiefs in this game too. I can't trust the Dolphins and Tua enough. Are you going with the Texans in their game?
I'm rooting for the Texans. I think the Browns are going to win.
That's where I'm at too.
Full disclosure. I do not see the Texans. I just think they're too young and too raw. I think the Browns are probably coached a little more solidly. Their defense is insane. I don't see the Texans beating them, but you won't catch me rooting for the Browns.
We got the same picks basically. All right.
Yeah.
Next up is a triple header on Sunday. It starts with the AFC 2 seed Buffalo Bills, who get to host the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are the 7 seed. I just got a couple of notes here. How the hell did the Bills win their division?
Seriously, man.
The Buffalo Bills were 6-6, and they somehow won their division. And they had a tough schedule to get here too. They fired their offensive coordinator midway through the season. It's crazy. I can't believe it. And then on the flip side, how did the Pittsburgh Steelers get into playoffs after their mess? A few weeks ago, they had issues with their wide receivers' effort blocking, and they were talking about, did Mike Tomlin lose the locker room? They made a change at quarterback. Right. They stuck with Mason Rudolph, and here they are in the playoffs again. I mean, I can't believe either of these teams are in, let alone the Bills are the 2 seed, but here we are. So take it away.
First of all, just to echo some of those points, the Steelers getting into the playoffs, Tomlin is working some kind of magic. His streak of above 500 continues, and man, he's had some pretty. This is a pretty dog shit roster.
Yeah.
You look at that and you're like, this is nothing is moving the needle in your mind. You see their players on fantasy and you're like, they don't score points. How are they doing this? And then with the Bills, I got a fun fact for you. Ever since that story of Sean McDermott and the fucking 9/11 thing came out, they are undefeated, man. They're undefeated. Something's up, man. There's a conspiracy there. I need Joe Rogan to look into this. I need Mr. Aaron Rodgers to look into this. Yeah. There's some goofy shit going on. But, all right. I'm going to pick the Steelers on this game. Not to win. I'm going to pick the Bills to win. But I think the Steelers' key to victory is, I think this is kind of cheating because I'm kind of giving away the Bills' answer, is forcing Josh Allen to make Josh Allen mistakes. If he's going to guarantee you at least 2 mistakes, if you can make that like 4 mistakes, you could probably win that game.
I'm picking the Bills too. They are super hot heading into the playoffs, hitting at the right time.
Yeah.
I think their key to the game is piggybacking off you, run the ball. Their success this year has coincided with them really focusing on the run game. James Cook has been incredible. I think that's the major key. And then pick and choose your spots. Josh Allen's looked good. He can win you a game, but when he needs to, he can also make a mistake, like you said. But I think establishing that run seems like their identity. And by the way, go Cougs alert, but Ed Oliver's been tremendous for the Bills. I know all the attention goes to TJ Watt, and rightfully so. By the way, I don't know if he's the first player to do it, but he had his 3rd season of leading the entire NFL in sacks. He's done it 3 times in his career, which is nuts.
Damn.
And I can't miss out on an opportunity to call out my own team. The Dallas Cowboys selected Taco Charlton instead of TJ Watt. A lot of people skipped out on TJ Watt because he was towards the end of the first round, but my God, it hurts more when you picked the same position. On to, it's a nice segue. Didn't even plan that. The Sunday afternoon game is the 2 Dallas Cowboys facing the Green Bay Packers, who are the 7th seed in the NFC. Tons of storylines here. Mike McCarthy coaching against his former team.
Yeah.
Goes without saying, a lot of pressure in Dallas, and they're facing a team with no pressure because, like you said, with the Texans, kind of house money at this point. The Packers making the playoffs ahead of schedule like this is already an accomplishment, so they can go balls to the wall.
Yeah, they'll live with whatever. They'll live with whatever happens. Yeah.
The Packers historically, obviously, have a lot of success against the Cowboys in the postseason. I'll just segue right into it. I'll go first on this one since my team. Yeah, I figured you.
I was gonna let you. I was gonna think of something for the Packers. Yeah,
some of my headlines kind of discuss the Cowboys, but obviously, and unfortunately, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. I, along with many, are hoping that the team's ownership didn't transfer from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love, because I cannot take another era of quarterback that does this to the Cowboys. Understatement, the year the Cowboys have been really good at home, and it was very important that they got a high seed so that they're at least guaranteed this home game right here.
Yep.
What worries me is Stephon Gilmore hurt his shoulder in their finale against the Commanders. They were already down Trayvon Diggs early in the year. Being thin at cornerback is not great for the speedy Packers wide receiver core. They run all over the place, it seems like.
Yep.
The key is going to be forcing Jordan Love into mistakes. The Cowboys do way better when they force turnovers. Obviously, every team does, but their splits, like when they first force turnovers, are usually their really, really good games where they put it all together. Dak has had an incredible season, but nothing matters. The Cowboys have had incredible seasons before. You got to perform in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It starts right now. You lose to a young Packers team with nothing to... 9-8.
9-8.
Who took the final week to get into the playoffs. Then it's more of the same. And I fear it so much. There's no reason for it because on paper the Cowboys have been incredible. Dak, CeeDee Lamb. But I've seen this story before, so that worries the hell out of me. Yeah, I think the key on offensive side of the ball is Dak to CD Lamb. If you can get him going, obviously it's
pretty much
been pretty successful. Dak being on the money is very important. Winning the turnover battle is the big thing. I think you got to force one. Even 0-0 in the turnover battle isn't good enough. The Packers are opportunistic, so can't give them the ball, and you got to take it from them. So that's my major key, and please avoid the allergies to prosperity that plague the Dallas Cowboys this time of year. What you got for the Packers?
I can hear the PTSD in your voice, man.
Dude, it's painful, man.
I can feel it. I think you mentioned it. I think the Packers' key is their wide receiver core. They need to basically run through the middle of your field and just slice up your cornerbacks. If they do that, I think they'll at least score a few. But my positive side for you is I see like a 5% chance that the Packers win this game.
I hope you're right.
I think the Cowboys are going to fucking destroy them.
I hope
so.
so.
I don't think it's going to be particularly close. I think it's going to be like 35-10.
I would love that.
I know you would.
I'm cautiously picking the Cowboys because it should be that way on paper, but I will not be surprised because I've, like I said, seen this story before. Anyway.
Yeah, if the Packers win this game, someone's got to get fired. Yeah. That's insane.
Yeah. The Sunday games wrap up with a Sunday night game. The Detroit Lions host their first home playoff game since 1993. They play the number 6 seed Los Angeles Rams. This probably feels like the most scripted matchup that you could possibly ever have. The Lions, of course, finally have a home playoff game, and who do they play? But their former and well-loved still quarterback
they
Matthew.
love him.
They love him. Like you can't find a Lions fan that doesn't love Matthew Stafford.
For sure.
He comes in Detroit. That place is going to be nuts. I think this might be the most fun matchup. I don't know if
it's easily the best matchup. Yeah, it's like if I had to pick one, objectively speaking, as like which one do you want to see the most? It's this game.
I'm excited about this one the most.
Yeah.
So the Lions had a controversial Week 17 loss. I mean, asterisk on the loss, but they did win the NFC North. They were very impressive all year. Now, in that final week, I really question whether they should play anyone. The Lions had a chance at the number 2 seed, but they needed both the Cowboys and the Eagles to lose to jump up to the 2 seed. They were pretty much locked into the 3. They played their starters. They won, but in the process, Sam Laporta got hurt. I think it's a hyperextension of his knee, but he's been a huge part of their offense. And it seems like he's going to be out for a little bit, at least this matchup. We'll see about the future. The Rams are dangerous. They got Kyron Williams has had an incredible year at running back. Obviously Cooper Kupp, and then they had a revelation in Puka Nacua who set rookie receiving records all time. So crazy matchups. And don't forget Matthew Stafford coming into Detroit. That trade that traded him to LA brought back Jared Goff, who's their quarterback. So playing each other. Sean McVay's playing his former number 1 draft pick.
Exactly.
So tons of storylines here. I'll let you pick. I feel like this is a fun one either way.
Yeah, the NFL cooked with the script right here, man. Yeah. I think they jobbed the Lions in the game against the Cowboys just so we could get this matchup. And I'm honestly not mad at it. Good job, Goodell.
Yeah. Good job, script writers.
Good job, script writers. Y'all killed it. I don't know. This is like the most 50-50 toss-up game, I feel like, on paper. I think Stafford has the big game experience now, especially with this Rams team, especially with McVay. McVay has a lot of big game experience. Yeah. So I think I'm going to pick the Rams. Okay. The lower seed, the road team, this is Stafford's home stadium. He knows everything about the stadium. Yeah. I don't think the atmosphere is going to matter to him. I think the Rams are going to go in there and break some Detroit hearts. And I think there's going to be a lot of Lions fans that don't like Matthew Stafford as much anymore. It's the pretty boys versus the petty boys. So I think the key to the Rams winning is Stafford having a Stafford game. He's been here before. He's a Super Bowl champ now. He's got everyone's respect, and there really isn't a lot of pressure on him anymore. So, yeah, I'm going to roll with the Rams and say Stafford's the guy. They got to run through him.
So, I agree. It's a toss-up. I think I'm going to pick the Lions.
All right.
They're a super likable team, just like the Texans are, the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, they're so overdue for something good, man.
Yeah. I think nobody really contains Aaron Donald, but the Detroit Lions have a damn good offensive line. So,
absolutely,
at the very least, I think they can find some windows, whether it's away from Aaron Donald or what. But I think their key is going to be using their two-headed monster at running back, David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs, Gibbs has been incredible for them.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Yeah, so I think them controlling the line of scrimmage and the clock will be huge. And then maybe forcing Stafford into a turnover or two. So because he is a true gunslinger, so you could see tip passes, that sort of thing. The Lions have had a good couple weeks on defense, so I think they're heading in at the right time. I think they look good. And then the Rams still got to cover Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah.
So even if Laporta is out, him and Goff have quite the connection. So
yeah,
I could see it going either way, like I said, but leaning a little towards the Lions, but wouldn't be surprised either way because they still got to cover two.
I do have one request for the script writers though. I need the script writers to make sure that the defense doesn't play too well.
Yeah.
Do you remember like a few years ago that one, it was like, I think it was Rams and Chiefs. It was like a Monday Night Football game.
Yeah.
And it was like 52-48,
Yeah.
like absolute shootout. I need that shit. Like that would be so fun to like cap off your Sunday night with.
Yeah.
Just like this electric shootout, because these quarterbacks are used to shootouts.
Yeah, and
so
it very well could be that, honestly, because
I want to say it was Goff versus Mahomes when the year the Rams went to the Super Bowl, and when they had that just insane offense. But that's what I want. I don't want the defenses to play too hard.
I feel that. I'm with you there. Yeah, make it entertaining for us. That one would be most painful if it was a blowout.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the final wild card matchup is the Monday night game, which I fucking hate that they do this. I ranted about it because the Cowboys had the Monday night playoff game last year. I think it's a huge disadvantage to the team that wins and has to continue on a short week.
Yeah, it's terrible.
I think it's silly. But the Monday night game is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the 4 seed, hosting the Philadelphia Eagles, the 5 seed. Clearly the weakest division winner against a team that has been, to put it lightly, reeling.
Yeah.
Can the Eagles' defensive woes hold up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers' weapons? Will the Eagles' advantage at quarterback be enough? Jalen Hurts being better than Baker Mayfield is probably the most obvious statement you could ever make. And are the Eagles healthy? A.J. Brown hurt his knee, as I mentioned earlier. Jalen Hurts hurt his middle finger on his throwing hand. They're coming in banged up. Not only their record, but physically as well. So, Rush, take it away. Who you want to cover in this game, and what's your pick?
My pick is going to be the Buccaneers. I think the Eagles cannot recover. They are in a tailspin. I don't see them getting it together in a week. The Bucs have a really good defense. Jalen Hurts has been turning the ball over like a madman. And I think for the Eagles to be in this game, Jalen Hurts needs to be 2023 Jalen Hurts, or else they have no chance. Because they're lost on defense, they're lost on offense. If he isn't remotely good, they're going to get their ass whooped.
The Bucs, I think their keys are going to be forcing turnovers on defense. They've been iffy. Also, Baker Mayfield can't make a mistake.
Yeah.
If he doesn't need to win the game, but he just can't lose the game. Because this Eagles defense is truly trash this year. They thought making a change at defensive signal caller would help, and it's probably made things worse. Their defensive line isn't any good this year at controlling the line, which have been their strength. So now I think the quarterback that talks in Instagram captions, Jalen Hurts, is going to come to play, and I just think they're going to pull the upset when nobody expects them to. So I just feel like Jalen Hurts is going to go off. Maybe they get a big game from DeAndre Swift, and they get it done in Tampa Bay. Just have this feeling. So I'm going, unfortunately, with the Eagles.
All right. Respect.
Wouldn't be surprised.
I'm surprised you're picking pro Eagles. This would have been a great opportunity to shit on them, but I guess you're being cautiously not jinx.
Yeah, I don't want to be... People use that against me, man.
That's fair. Yeah, receipt season is the best season.
Amen. All right, so you went with the Bucks.
Yeah, I'm rolling with the Bucks.
With the Eagles in that one. So we agreed on... I think we agreed on like 4 out of the 6. So Texans, Browns, we both are picking the Browns, but rooting for the Texans, obviously. Yeah. Both picked the Chiefs over the Dolphins. Yep. We both picked the Bills over the Steelers. Yep. We both picked the Cowboys over the Packers. You're more confident than I am. And the last 2 matchups of the weekend are where we're split. Yeah. So you have the Rams going into Detroit and winning. Yeah. I have the Lions. And you have the Bucks winning at home, and I have the Eagles pulling the upset because they might be the coldest team out of this playoff group.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at it.
Yeah, it's like between them and the Dolphins.
Yeah, true. So, anyway, hopefully you number one podcast listeners enjoyed our coverage of the 6 wildcard matchups. I thought that was fun, man. Great idea by you, and we'll have to see how we do with those picks.
Yes, sir.
You already know what time it is, you number one podcast listeners. We wouldn't cut you short on this segment, so
never.
It's time to hit that intro for You Played Yourself.
I'm petty as hell. And I'm super petty.
Here we
Petty Le Pew.
go.
All right, you number one podcast listeners, we are keeping with the NFL theme for this episode. First up, and some of this is headlines to wrap up the regular season, obviously. First up, You Played Yourself goes to...
Wait. Hold on. We totally forgot. I got a quick one before you even start, because I just feel like it needs to be said. Mr. Aaron Rodgers found his way. He found his way onto this shit once again. He's always the headliner of this section. As all you number one podcast listeners know, he is
Hall of Fame.
At this point, he is the Hall of Fame You Played Yourself candidate. We won't spend a lot of time because he's going to be here in a week or so. Quote, "The bullshit that has nothing to do with winning needs to get out of the building," was something Aaron Rodgers said just a week after he was on Pat McAfee's show accusing Jimmy Kimmel of doing things on Epstein Island. I don't know what he means by that, but I think I just immediately went to that Tim Robinson skit on I Think You Should Leave. Where he runs through the house with the hot dog car in a hot dog costume, and he's like, "We're all trying to find the guy who did this."
Someone drove a hot dog shaped car through the window.
Driver's gone. Somebody call the cops. We need to find that driver.
They could have killed someone.
Whose car is...
Come on, whoever did this, just confess. We promise we won't be mad.
What?
You know what's driving me nuts? It could literally be any one of us.
Ooh. No, it couldn't. You're dressed like a hot dog.
You're wearing an actual hot dog costume.
Aaron Rodgers, you, sir, are the bullshit that has nothing to do with winning. Just check it, brother, because it's you. It's always been you, and it's never not going to be you. Anyway, we can continue with You Played Yourself. There's nothing else that needs to be said. I just wanted to pull a Kanye interruption and make sure that Aaron Rodgers headlines.
From the bottom of my heart, I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
For the people, we had to have Hall of Fame member on here.
We don't need the suspense of like having direct support, openers, headliners. No, we're just gonna give you Aaron Rodgers every time he deserves to be here. He will be first. That is my promise to you. As long as I'm on the episode, he's going to be first. Unless Draymond's there, then we're going to have to flip a coin.
Good point.
Shout out Draymond.
Number one podcast listeners, You Played Yourself. Obviously, first and foremost, Aaron Rodgers. You Played Yourself, a Hall of Fame member, first ballot. You already know. Great interruption.
Yeah. I thought you liked
the Denver Broncos, next up on You Played Yourself for their handling of Russell Wilson. So the Broncos benched Wilson the last 2 weeks to avoid triggering an injury clause in his contract. So Russell Wilson, when he went to the Broncos, signed a 5-year, $242.6 million contract in 2022. He is guaranteed $39 million in 2024. However, if he were to get hurt and be unable to pass a physical by the 5th day of the new league year, basically get hurt at the end of the year so he couldn't do his physical in March, he would be owed another $37 million. So the Broncos were allegedly trying to avoid paying that and wanted to keep Wilson off the field and out of harm's way over the last 2 weeks of the season so that he could pass that physical later in 2024, and they don't owe that nearly double of his contract. The story goes the Broncos gave Russell Wilson an ultimatum after their Week 8 win versus the Chiefs. This is according to Russell Wilson himself. The Broncos said that either he alter his contract in regards to that injury guarantee or he would be benched. Now, they clearly waited for a while to actually bench him, but they went ahead and did. And this is a reminder to you number one podcast listeners. If you ever find yourself siding with an owner of a team or telling a player, why would you hold out or ask for this money? Don't. Even aside from this latest example, this should serve as a reminder that it's generally corny by fans who side with billionaire owners instead of players who make those said billionaires their money for their franchises. It's like, imagine calling the rich spoiled instead of the richer. That's what you're effectively doing. So they wanted this man, he negotiated this into his contract. They wanted him to remove the clause. His money would be money. It's a physical game, and they wanted him to alter his contract and threaten to bench him over it. I think that's total Bush League. Fine if you want to bench him, but let's not pretend it's anything else. And they really tried to skate by acting like they didn't try to pull a fast one.
Yep.
Anyway.
Like,
Russell Wilson's generally corny, but I'm glad he did not remove that clause because
yeah,
he negotiated it fair and square, and he shouldn't have to do that just to play.
Yeah, the Broncos are pissed that this was in his contract and wanted him to like renege it. My brother in Christ, you signed the contract. What the fuck? If you didn't want that, you should have had a stalemate in negotiations and been like, we're absolutely not going to pay you $40 million if you're injured. Why would you write that shit into the contract? The whole thing fucking reeks. I am not a Russell Wilson fan. I actually quite dislike him. And you have to do a lot for me to side with Russell Wilson. And I wish nothing but the worst for the Broncos. I hope they have to cut Russ. I hope Russ goes to another team. And I hope the Broncos remain in like cap hell for the next 3 years and can't do shit and are just bottom feeders. Because this was all dirty business. And anyone who sides with the Broncos, huge bootlicker energy. Like, that's insane.
Totally agree. Okay, you knew we had to do it. You number one podcast listeners. You Played Yourself goes to NFL officiating. Obviously, I'm a Cowboys fan, so I only benefited from their call, but that doesn't mean I can't look at that call objectively. So the Cowboys versus Lions game has been talked about ad nauseum. We're not going to say anything new that hasn't been heard with that whole Taylor Decker reporting, not reporting situation. The referee's clear error. That same crew called tripping on the wrong team. They called a penalty on the Dallas Cowboys and effectively ended their drive. And it was actually on Aiden Hutchinson on the Lions defense. They also missed a defensive pass interference in the Chiefs versus Packers game in Week 13. By the way, if that game flipped, the Packers would not be in the playoffs right now, and probably the Chiefs would be the 2 seed. So you're talking about consequential, thinking back to Week 13, that clear missed call and pass interference at the end. I think the Packers defensive back basically tackled Valdez-Scantling. It would have given the Chiefs the ball like at the goal line.
Yeah.
Why the fuck isn't there a sky judge like yesterday? I thought I heard I think it was on sports radio here in Columbus. They had a national reporter on. I think this story goes years ago. The coaches voted on adding a sky judge, but I think the owner shot it down in like those off-season meetings. I don't understand why this isn't a thing, how it's not a win-win across the board.
Yeah.
The officials would appreciate corrections being made for them real time. They're using their eyes and balancing a bunch of things at once. So you don't think they would prefer someone radio into them like, hey, you missed that, so they don't get fucking ridiculed left and right?
It would improve the game immediately.
Hell yeah.
Instantly and immediately.
There's absolutely no downside I see to it. Imagine, on field, officials call something incorrectly. The sky judge catches it right away, radios into them in their headset. The correction's made without even the official needing to go to the monitor. They've started doing that a little bit here and there where they correct calls without having to go to the monitor and like a challenge or whatever. Just do that all the time. You would avoid these obvious errors that lead to game-changing, season-changing, job-changing outcomes.
Yeah,
it should have been done yesterday.
You're talking about seeding in the playoffs. You're talking about like
crazy amount of things, and that's just this season. It's happened so many times. Like the that Saints Rams NFC Championship game.
Yeah, that was the example I was going to come up with. Yeah,
there are so many instances where
the wrong team went to the Super Bowl. That's insane.
You can radio in right there, and before anybody even knows what's going on, a guy can drop a flag like that he didn't have out before. It's so easy. Like real quick, the sky judge is in your ear. Hey, you missed that. You missed that. Throw the flag. Like it's so fucking easy. I know this is like preaching to the choir. Every fan everywhere wants this, but the second half of the year has been like the priming. I got a pair of AFC South teams on You Played Yourself Next.
Nice.
First up,
love to see it.
You love to see it. First up is the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, buddy.
The Jaguars at one point were 8-3. They were the top seed in the AFC. They finished the season 1-5 and missed the playoffs. The division looked like a shoo-in for them. Did you know, entering week 13, a mere 5 weeks ago, the Jags had a 98% chance to make the playoffs at that point.
Holy shit.
And they somehow shit it away.
You said 96? But I didn't even hear this.
98.
Oh my God. That's incredible.
Yeah.
How did you fuck it that bad? Oh my God.
Losing 5 out of 6 is truly wild.
Yeah.
They looked bad. And I know Trevor Lawrence was banged up. I actually think the one game they won was with their backup.
It was.
CJ
It was.
because they played like the Panthers or something.
It was them. Yep.
I think Steelers fans have been talking about how the Jags went into Pittsburgh and beat them, and they stole a terrible towel and waved it around. And I guess that's supposedly like cursing your team, and I guess they have ground to stand on at this point.
Yeah, they were in the comments of every Jaguars post that night and just flooding it. They were flooding it more than Texans fans.
And the Jags losing clinched the spot for the Steelers, if I remember
correctly. It did.
This past week.
It clinched the spot for the Steelers, and it gave the Bills an automatic entrance. Because if the Jags won,
Sunday night game.
basically for the division. Because I think if the Bills lost, they would have missed the playoffs if the Jags won.
Yes, you're correct. Like if the Jags had just beaten a lowly Tennessee Titans team, like they should have.
A 5-10 Titans team with Ryan Tannehill.
Way more dramatic. Yep. Now, granted, the Bills won anyway, so
so really moot point.
But I think the Steelers would have been.
Yeah, but to pile on a little bit, did you know? I saw this tweet, or I don't know where I heard it. The Jaguars have one double-digit win season in like the last 8 years or something, or like whatever years.
Really?
Yeah. Guess what? It's Blake Bortles led. Trevor Lawrence has not won 10 games yet. And I was, I don't know if you remember this, but I was told he was a generational talent.
Look, I stay petty, so I don't have to get petty.
Hate to see it. Sorry, Sunshine. CJ Stroud is him. Let me just talk about him one more time. 10 wins first season. That's all I got to say.
That's crazy that he already did that. He did something Trevor Lawrence hasn't.
For sure.
Okay, sticking in the AFC South. Had to you play yourself to the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis Colts, with the season on the line, 4th and 1, took out Jonathan Taylor in favor of Tyler Goodson.
Who?
Listen, I know Shane Steichen has done this stuff all year, but I don't know. Maybe if your season depends on it, maybe buck the trend and realize there's a reason you pay more money to certain guys on your team.
Yep.
I'd rather lose a game giving it to the guy than trusting Gardner Minshew to connect with a third-string running back. And it's not only on Goodson. Like, I know it hit him in the hands, but Minshew didn't give him a good pass
throw
either.
his shit, yeah.
Just, it was a good play call.
Yeah.
But I don't know why you wouldn't have your best play in the game there. I couldn't believe it. They ran the clock down and, like, used one of their timeouts, too. Which, yeah. And they called that play, which was the right one. But in that time, subbed out Jonathan Taylor. I couldn't believe it. So, I mean,
Jonathan Taylor gets paid more than Gardner Minshew. How the fuck was he not in?
Yep.
I would be furious. I'd be livid if I was a Colts fan.
Yeah. He gets, like, crazy with play calls. And I think they had the highest percentage all year on 4th downs passing.
Yeah.
4th and short, they trended towards passing. So, clearly it worked for them all year. And they did weird plays. Like, I think one time they ran an end around to their backup tight end. They've done, like, really odd play calls. But I think at that point, I would stick with what got you there. And Jonathan Taylor had a massive game.
He was killing the Texans. He was killing us.
So it's not like he was cold that game. He was carving shit up. So
I think he was averaging 8.9 a carry, dude.
It was, I mean, I know he had that long touchdown, but still, it's like.
Yeah, you can't ignore that stat.
With the guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least you can go in and explain it. Your owner, they got a meddling owner. You go in there and be like, hey, I was thinking I'd give it to the guy we pay a lot.
Yep.
Oh, it makes sense.
The guy who held out and missed 5 games and relatively fresher than pretty much anyone else.
Good point.
Yeah, he was fresh.
Great point. Or they didn't even give it to the guy who started in his place and had a really good year, Zach Moss.
Yes.
No, they went
third
further
stringer.
down
It makes so little sense. And, Jonathan Taylor being fresh, if they did win, they're in the playoffs, they could hand him the rock 30 fucking times and beat literally anybody.
Yeah. Yep.
They blew it.
But, take it all day.
Love to see it. Thanks.
Okay. I wanted to add in you played yourself to the NFL playoff format, specifically division champs getting automatic home games in the wild card round. I would like to add a disclaimer that I've felt this way even when the NFC East was called the NFC Least back in the years where their teams were around 500 making the playoffs.
The 8-8 team wins home game. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think a team should get a home game for winning in a subpar division. I'm not saying like totally discount divisions. I think winning your division should get you a playoff spot, sure.
Yes.
But I believe the NFL should seed based off record.
Mm-hmm.
So the 7 teams on each side are the 4 division winners and 3 wild cards, but they're all seeded based on the other usual criteria that is in division titles. So, like record, head-to-head.
Yeah, just treat it as its own division of the playoff teams. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I don't think you should get rewarded for being in a bad division. Like, it should be strictly record. I mean, you're in a bad division, so theoretically, you're in a bad division, so you should have won more games anyway.
Yep.
But you didn't. So, either way, it proves, like, you weren't that good. I don't think there's any way... I don't think the Bucs should be hosting a playoff game, for example. Like, I think it's kind of bullshit. So, I mean, the Eagles, yes, they sucked down the stretch of the season, but they still were 11-5, and they have to play an away game.
I mean, same goes for the Browns, too. Yeah, like, the Browns are, 11-6, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and They rested their starters in their last game. So that honestly could have been a win too, but
because they were locked into a 5 seed because of those rules.
Yeah, and then you have the Steelers Steelers 10-7, right? Yeah, so I guess I mean, either way, you shouldn't have 11-win teams playing in 9-win teams stadiums for the playoffs.
Last season, the Cowboys were a 5 seed and they had to go to Tampa Bay. Now, they won, but it's still, I think they were 11-5 last year, or 12-5 or something crazy, and they played in a tough division, and because they played in a tough division, they get
penalized essentially. Yeah.
So, and like, I think you just brought up a good point. If you change the system, you would inherently make the last week of the season more competitive because people will be fighting for seeding.
You're not resting starters, you're trying to win games.
Totally. I mean, I think it solves a lot of problems, and for the record, I feel that way. I felt that way for years, but I know I'm not the only one.
I mean, the Texans hosted like 2 playoff games as a 9-7 team. One year, I think we got shithoused by the Chiefs like 30-0. Brian Hoyer, so I feel that.
You got any more that I missed?
No, I think that's it for football, man.
All right.
This is a nice beefy NFL section today.
Yeah, it was a lot to cover, but I'm glad we did it. Non-sports, you played yourself. So, I don't know if you have one, but if you don't, I'll give you a chance to think about it. I had this revelation because I was in the store the other day. You played yourself to people that talk on speakerphone at grocery or convenience stores. I think my only conceivable explanation is I think sometimes people's microphones go out, so like you have to talk on speakerphone. But these people got to be like top 5 in the least amount of fucks given rankings, right? Like,
of course,
the idea that you would talk out loud and let the other person's voice come through a speakerphone while people are just like
walking by,
keeping to themselves is absolutely.
I come across that all the time. I gotta back that one too. I do have a candidate though, but it's very self-centered. Right. So I, as a 30-plus-year-old person, have given myself a high ankle sprain.
So congratulations.
It fucking sucks. Huge, you played yourself to any real injury in your 30s. It's brutal. Yeah, so I don't recommend it to anybody. It sucks.
Shit.
Yeah. And it's not my first one, but and I got it in the absolute stupidest way. I shouldn't even like embarrass myself, but I'll do it for you, number 1 podcast listeners. Wow. All right. So I'm walking my dog. My dog is 12 pounds, FYI, all right? So I'm running with my dog. It is a little rainy. All right, I'll give it that. Let me set the scene for you. We're running because pretty much any time my dog takes a shit, right after, she just gets a burst of zoomies. I'm sure many of you dog owners can relate. Yep. I just happen to be, and where my apartment complex is, I have this huge green like area where I can just let her loose. However, when I was walking her this time, I was kind of like right alongside a busy street, so I can't really let her loose. So I'm running with her on a leash. It's like first thing in the morning. This is New Year's Day, by the way. So I started off 2024 with a high ankle sprain. So I'm running with her down the sidewalk, and then she cuts into this grass lot. And in this grass lot, there is like a huge crater. So my foot, and it's covered with grass. So I can't really see it. My foot plants exactly in it. And I knew in that moment I had to make a choice. I either try to stand up and keep my balance and like really fuck shit up. Like I honestly think I could have broke my ankle, or I succumb to the embarrassment. I basically allow myself to roll a little bit, fall over, and then just take the sprain. So I went with choice B. Wow. High ankle sprain.
Smart thinking.
My shit swole up. It was like a fucking golf ball in my ankle. It was not fun.
Damn.
Yeah.
Man, getting old sucks.
It sure does.
You know, you were 10 years younger, you'd already been good again.
Yeah, I'd be playing basketball tomorrow. I will say, in my defense, this kind of I'll save the rest of that for later, because I know we got a more positive section, so I'll save it.
All right. Okay. So that wraps up a nice beefy you played yourself. Let's move on to Am I Hating? We say statements most likely clearly hating, but that's a safe space anyway. So, Rush, am I hating if I do not get picky eaters as adults? So, this came because Brooklyn Nets star Mikal Bridges said he has eaten Chipotle every day for the past 10 years.
I saw that. That's insane.
How the fuck do you do that? No disrespect to Chippy, because who doesn't love it, Chippy? But Mikal needs a better fucking palate. There's no grown-ass adult that should be eating any of the same thing every day for 10 years.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No one should be doing that. Get a better fucking palate. Expand. You're rich. Go to nice places. Like, give me a fucking break with this.
Dude, he's in New York City, too, and eating Chipotle every day.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I can't believe, like, you're in a food mecca and you're going to a chain that you can get anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. And eating the same thing like, listen, my favorite thing ever is some wings.
Yeah.
But you bet your ass if I ate it every day for 10 years, it would lose a little luster. Like, let's be real here. This has always been a pet peeve of mine, but I hate picky eaters as adults because my feeling is they've been enabled, like they had bad habits that were enabled as children, and they grew up to be
100%
not even willing to try shit.
100%.
And it bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me more than it probably should, because it doesn't really have an impact on me, but I just can't imagine as an adult, like, being like, oh, I don't like that, and not having tried something. And I'm not saying Mikal Bridges is that way, but you shouldn't be having the same shit every day.
I don't know, man.
It shouldn't be.
I'd put money down that he goes to Chipotle and he probably is a same order every day kind of guy. And I would put money down that there's something like super fucking silly about his order, like no peppers and onions or something like absolutely fucking preposterous.
I think he said his order.
Man, we gotta find that order.
Whatever point.
Okay, so I just looked it up and I found it. First of all, the headline is the reason why he does it. Quote: "It's too fire." This fucking man, bro. Okay, and here's his order, everybody. Number one podcast listeners, I got you. My bowl order. He gets a bowl, so there's no tortilla involved. I get white rice, no beans, double chicken, medium and mild salsa, corn and lettuce, and that's fucking it. There's no peppers and onions, like I bet.
Called it.
There's no sour cream. There's no guac. What the hell is this shit?
Yeah,
Mikal Bridges, you should be embarrassed, sir. You make too much money for this shit. I can't believe I'm looking at this bullshit. You eat like a fourth grader.
Like he's still in college.
Yeah. College, that's generous, man.
Yeah.
Barrett probably has you're almost.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, you're almost 2-year-old has a better palate. That's insane.
That's going to be a major sticking point for me. If I have any say in the matter, I will not be raising a picky eater.
No way, man.
You got to try shit.
Yes.
If you decide you don't like it, fine.
Totally different story.
We're not going to decide we don't like it by not trying it. That ain't happening.
Yeah.
And we're damn sure not eating the same thing.
Yeah, that's insane.
That means I haven't done well in showing you the way. There's a lot of fucking good food out there. Anyway. So clearly I'm not hating. But yeah, if you're a picky eater out there, like, get better friends that don't enable you, and just like maybe make it your New Year's resolution to try something new every week. Just one thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Just be better. Be an adult. How about that?
I got an Am I Hating for you.
Oh, I love it. Go.
You remember last episode I told you I've been going to the movie theater a lot?
Yeah.
It's a movie theater related bit.
Oh, love it.
Am I hating, like, as someone personally with a relatively small bladder, I typically have to use the restroom often. But, however, in a movie, I try not to because it causes such a fucking distraction. And you're always crossing over people, and now that there's like recliners, people have to recline in and out. On 2 separate occasions, I've been sat next to someone who has gotten up like 2-3 times during one movie. And these aren't like, what? I'm not watching Oppenheimer, bro. Like, I'm watching like 2-hour movies, and you're getting up 3 times. Like, sit your ass down and hold it like the rest of us. The second a movie's over, I'm beelining to a restroom, and you know what I mean. Like, do like everybody else. Yeah. Sit your ass down. So I know I'm hating. I am hating, but we're gonna talk about that.
I'm with you there.
Yeah.
Maybe the theater's not the place for you if you have to go that often.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, you can watch at home. It's much better.
Yeah.
You can pause that shit.
You can piss all you want, man.
Less people that'll be mad at you. Yeah. Hell yeah. I love that one. That's a great one. Okay, let's move over to who you got and what you feeling. And keeping with the theme, I did want to recap one of our previous episodes, though, because we talked about kind of halfway through the season our most surprising teams. Credit to you. You, out of all the candidates at the time, picked the Texans. You know,
I'm so smart.
Boys.
I'm so smart.
Yeah. Shout out to that clip at the top of our episode, too. You already know. Real news coverage. Not fake whatsoever.
It's not fake. But if you're interested in where I got it from, I don't want to not credit. It's Twitter user, or I guess X user, at Houston Zans. XANS. So like Texans without the TE. He's very funny on Twitter. I have no idea who he is. I just started following him because he's always posting memes and using AI to his benefit. That shit was so fire.
Amazing. I probably was the other way and was surprised about the Buffalo Bills at the time. They were 5-5, and we were talking about their tough schedule. I wasn't the only one. Old Takes Exposed had a field day with that one.
Oh, yeah, they did.
I was talking about how each year they've been pegged to take the next step, and they were going in the opposite direction they were at the time. But they made us all into liars. They made a offensive coordinator change.
They talked about Al-Qaeda.
To like a run-heavy team, and here they are, 2 seed.
Yep. Even Nick Wright posted like this whole segment today about it because he was writing them off too. So.
He said, he always talks in hyperbole, so he said 0% chance they make the playoffs. They're a higher seed than his Chiefs are.
Yeah. Shout out to the Bills, man. They told everyone to hold their beer.
Oh, yeah, man.
Respect.
Oh, and I guess, we made our picks for the college football playoff. You know what? That shit didn't happen. I refuse to acknowledge this season.
Yeah, so, not my champion.
Skip that. Not my champion. Whatever. We'll skip that.
You know how little,
no need
number one podcast listeners, you know how little we care about this CFP championship? We are recording this episode as it has aired on TV.
Oh, yeah.
This is something that you would never catch, at least Premal, you would never catch you doing this shit while the shit was airing. But, goes to show you, does not count, didn't matter. Not my champion.
Eddie alert. Eddie alert.
Go Bucks.
Okay. Go Bucks. Amen. This episode, I wanted to keep with the theme, but I got a couple to wrap up the season. Real quick, who you got? More surprising, the Bills winning the AFC East after their rough start, 6-6. We already talked about that a little earlier. Or the Eagles losing the NFC East after starting 10-1. So I'll go first before I get your answer.
Mm-hmm.
As I just covered, I got to go with the Bills because, as I said, I kind of wrote them off.
Yeah.
They fired their offensive coordinator midseason. They look like a mess, and they were heading into a tough stretch of the season. So I guess I'm more surprised about that because, the Eagles are still in the playoffs, and I was thinking the Bills weren't even going to be in. Now they're the 2 seed. So who you got?
First of all, you can't fool me. I'm familiar with your game. I see you not picking the Eagles because you don't want to talk on your NFC East rival. Respect, but I see through the bullshit. Anyway, I'll pick the Eagles.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I'll pick the Eagles losing the NFC East. I think that's more surprising because the Bills were always kind of supposed to be good. Everyone expected them to be in the playoffs, so it's almost like they're like, oh yeah, we're good. Let's play well. Whereas the Eagles is more surprising because you said they started 10-1. They ended with 11 wins. Like, for a team to go 10-1, and they didn't, like, they weren't just playing shitty teams. Like, they beat the Chiefs.
No.
They beat, like, some good team. Like, dude, they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, and Sirianni was over here, like, talking shit to the fans on the way out. So it's like they were feeling themselves. So this tailspin is, like, serious. Like, that was right before this losing streak. So I think that's like the biggest red flag of all to me. Is they thought they were hot shit. Yeah. And like you said,
they're defending NFC champs.
Exactly. And Jalen Hurts' Instagram quotes are going crazy. Like, you don't say that shit when you're 2-14. Like, you don't.
Yeah, I admittedly am very surprised at that.
Yeah.
That finish, and I think, to your credit in your pick, they lost some teams that you just didn't expect them to, namely that Cardinals game.
Yeah.
Because that one was it's wild that the Cardinals don't have a lot of wins, but two of their wins are against NFC
Two
East
great teams,
teams that made the playoffs. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. That one was a tough one, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the NFL coaching carousel. Obviously, potentially more moves to be made and more candidates to be hired, but at the time that we're recording this, there are 5 head coaching vacancies. The Chargers and Panthers made moves mid-season. Those are open. Now the Commanders, Falcons, and then the Raiders also made a move mid-season. So that is technically a head coaching vacancy too.
Yeah.
Also worth noting, we're not going to talk too much about the GM jobs, but there are 3 open GM jobs too. The Charger, actually now at least 3, the Chargers, Panthers, and Raiders. But I did want to go through some of these, and then we'll talk about the most desirable vacancy, the least desirable. We'll wrap up that section. Obviously, it's subject to change, and more might happen here soon. But first up, we talked about this earlier. The Falcons fired Arthur Smith. They didn't even wait till
Black Monday.
Black Monday. Yeah, they did it Sunday night.
Yeah.
If we're talking about script writing, scriptwriters got mighty lazy with the Falcons.
Yeah.
Did you know, in his 3 seasons, Arthur Smith finished 7-10, 7-10, and 7-10.
What the hell?
In his 3 seasons, his Falcons ended up with the 8th overall pick, the 8th overall pick, and the 8th overall pick.
Wait, seriously?
Yep. Yeah, so the Falcons are going to be picking number 8, and they've done that.
Studs, too.
The 2 years prior.
Was it Pitts, London, and Bijan, right?
Yeah.
God damn.
Moving on, I do think it's worth bringing up Bill Belichick. A lot of people think his time in New England is going to be over.
Yeah.
I did want to note that whole, trading for a head coach scenario, I did see a bunch of NFL reporters, I think it might have been Shefty, say that's not going to happen, that scenario. I don't think anybody's going to go for that.
Yeah, I think that's too...
especially Belichick.
Yeah. I think that's too old school almost in a way. I just feel like...
Yeah.
I do feel like Belichick is not going to coach the Patriots anymore. It just feels that way. But I don't think he's going to be done coaching. I think... I mean, if he's smart, he goes to the Chargers. That's like a good...
We don't want to tip our cap here a little bit. Next up, Antonio Pierce for the Raiders.
Yeah.
He was their interim coach. He went 5-4 in that stint. Worth noting, the Raiders did finish second in the AFC West, so he did help them wrap up their season in a positive note.
Yeah.
Ron Rivera was fired in Washington. He went 24-40 in 4 seasons there. 1 playoff appearance. Given all those, we talked about some of the other vacancies that happened mid-season, and I mentioned them. I want your pick for most desirable potential vacancy. I think you kind of tipped your cap there, and there is an obvious pick, obviously.
Yeah.
But some candidates I have for you: the Chargers, the Falcons, potentially the New England Patriots, and then you have the Washington Commanders.
Yeah. I mean, I know I said Belichick to the Chargers, but I think the better job might be the Falcons. Your division's weaker. it's seemingly up for grabs. I think the Falcons should also probably try to make a play for Justin Fields.
Yep, totally.
He's low-hanging fruit right now, and I think Bears, the smart decision would be to draft a quarterback. I mean, you don't want to pay a quarterback when you're still rebuilding. It's easier to just let him be a free agent. Justin Fields, Falcons, dude, that sounds like a great situation for him.
Seems like a no-brainer.
Yeah, that's what I would like to see. So whoever wants to go coach the Falcons, you can easily do a better job than Arthur Smith. That dude, just side note, and I know this isn't supposed to matter, but I've never seen a motherfucker hate fantasy football more than Arthur Smith in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Just get someone who knows how to use your good players. I just listed off 3 studs that were top 10 picks and that are probably bottom 10 at their position. Let's not have that happen. Also, and then the Raiders need to sign Antonio Pierce to a deal. That man,
I think
that team loves him. They play for him, and that would be such a stupid move not to. I mean, he did that with Aiden O'Connell. Come on, man, give it
crazy.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, who would have thought just giving the ball to your best players is wins over a locker room? You know?
Yeah, I mean, Devontae Adams was like 1 foot out the door, and he was playing hard for the rest of that year, knowing they didn't have anything to play for. That's all. That's really all you need to know.
Yep. I like your Falcons pick. I thought for sure you were going to say the Chargers, so I was prepared to make that same exact claim you just made, so I won't duplicate it. The Chargers is going to be the obvious pick for everybody because you got Herbert, you have a talented roster that has been largely underperforming, and if you make any sort of impact, it's kind of like house money again. Like we talked about that concept. I did want to talk a little bit about the Washington job because their quarterback was a mess, but they wound up with, I believe, the number 2 pick overall in the upcoming draft. So in a quarterback heavy draft, if you like one of the quarterbacks, that could potentially be a very desirable position because you already have skill players around. You got Brian Robinson Jr., you got Terry McLaurin, Jahan Dotson. If you get a quarterback you like, you're doing pretty well. I know they trade away some key defensive pieces. They weren't going to be able to pay all of them. They still have 2 studs on the defensive line. In Payne and Jonathan Allen. So a lot of positives on that team, and quarterback play could make a huge difference. So I did want to point that one out, especially because I think they finished in kind of a whole bunch of teams finished with like 4 wins, and because of all the tiebreakers, I think Washington ended up with the number 2 overall pick. Just for curiosity's sake, you already mentioned the Bears get the number 1 pick by way of Carolina. The Commanders will have number 2, and the Patriots will be the 3rd pick.
Also, side note, the Panthers is by far the worst job.
Yes, so least desirable. It's got to be Carolina, right? You have no first round draft pick. What looks like a volatile owner who loves pulling the trigger on ending jobs, which, by the way, don't feel bad for all of them because they get paid no matter what. And is Bryce Young the guy? If you take that job, you pretty much say, like, I like Bryce Young leading our team because you're kind of stuck that way. So
you don't really have a choice. He's basically the new Justin Fields.
Now, worth noting, the guy who made that trade to trade up and get Bryce Young and all that, they fired their GM, like as I mentioned earlier. So perhaps you join the fold with the GM together. That's been proven to work. I always said the Niners did things right where they hired their GM and head coach together. Now, I don't think the Panthers owner is going to let them do their thing like San Francisco
there's no shot.
Trusted those guys to do. But at least you're not like, you don't have anything where it's like, oh, this is the GM's guy or this is the so-and-so. There's no split because they're going to have 2 new ones.
And the leash might be a little longer too.
Trying to find positive. Exactly. You're not expected to do much.
You might buy yourself 2 to 3 years.
Totally. Now, again, with that owner, who knows?
Maybe he shows up
his ass and thinks they're going to be good.
Maybe he shows up and throws a drink at you or something.
If your bright spot of your team was aging Adam Thielen, you probably got major roster issues. So
overpaying Adam Thielen too.
Now the Panthers do have pretty decent defense. I think they're gonna have cap room, I assume. So who knows what they do? They're gonna have to because
they don't have a choice.
They don't have their first round pick. They do get the first pick of the second round, which usually ends up being a first-round talent, so they're really going to have to hit on that pick. So you would assume they're going to get some skilled player talent for Bryce Young, but who knows? Okay. You talked about this already, kind of to your pick.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you to wrap it up with this section, the Chicago Bears. We mentioned they have the first overall pick. They also have their own pick, which is 9th overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think you already stated what your pick for them. I wanted to ask to keep or trade the pick. It seems to be split. Justin Fields got a chance in their last game at Soldier Field that the fans wanted him. Now they went to Lambeau and looked okay. They didn't look anything impressive. They lost in that Week 18 game that could have played spoiler and kept the Packers out of the playoffs. But anyway, I think you already said to draft a new quarterback and trade Fields to start that clock over. I think as much as I love Justin Fields, I do want to see him in a better situation. So I think it's a win-win if he gets moved, especially to the right situation, which I think is very obviously the Falcons.
I think he's got some of the growing pains out of the way, too. So it's like not as bad as drafting a new guy outright. And
they have the roster.
They have a good enough roster that he can win 8 to 10 games there.
Yeah. I think things were just kind of starting to get right in Chicago. They had a good end to the season, like you mentioned. He clearly has a connection with DJ Moore, who had a big year this year. Their defense is really good. They added Montez Sweat, who's been amazing for the Bears. So it is a good roster. He seems like he kind of expects it could go either way, and I don't know what the Bears are going to do. The nice angle about keeping Fields, while you do have to pay him, the Bears have the room to do that, and the amount of assets they could gain from trading that number 1 pick is probably huge, and you'd still get...
Yeah, it's Caleb Williams, basically.
Presumably, you wouldn't have to move super far down to go get a skill player like a Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
So, I get that angle. I do kind of think they're going to end up keeping the pick and taking Caleb Williams or whatever quarterback they decide they like. More so, it lets them restart with the rookie contract too. So,
yeah, it's kind of like the most precious commodity for a GM is a rookie contract QB.
Yeah. Look at your Texans.
Yep.
Okay. That wraps up who you got. Now we're going to move to what you feeling. So, Roche, what have you been feeling lately?
Oh, man. So, back to my injury. What I'm feeling, I'm still seeing movies, by the way. I'll add a couple of good ones.
Oh, yeah. I saw a couple, too.
So, Godzilla -1 is fucking awesome. Probably one of the coolest movies I've seen in a long time in the theater. It's not in English. It's in Japanese, subtitled. Truly, like, edge of your seat the entire time. Pretty close for a movie like that. Pretty close to a masterpiece. Like, it was done so well. It was so like moving, and like, I know you hate this word, but it was truly epic, man. It was like you're just sitting there and be like, it's just this grand like production. It was fucking awesome. And then Iron Claw. I just saw Iron Claw. Really great movie. Yeah. Definitely recommend that. It was weird to see Zac Efron in that kind of role, but props to him. Yeah. He's got a lot of range. I've seen him do a lot of great movies, so that was a great one. Yeah. But what I'm feeling is every January, the New Year's resolution thing, whatever it is, I don't really do like full year resolutions, but last few years I've been kind of, every January I do this challenge through my yoga studio, which is like 30 days, sorry, 30 classes in 31 days. So basically you have the month to do 30 classes. And the financial benefit is you get a free month of yoga for the next month. So you save some money, but really it's just about the physical, like mental benefits of coming and like really like restarting your year. And like typically like the holidays are really hectic and whatever it is, and you're running around doing a lot of stuff. So it's a good way to like get centered again and like get a hold of yourself and like kind of put a focus on the year. It's kind of like a year-long resolution that only takes a month to do. But a bunch of people would probably find that very difficult to do. So it takes a lot of effort, a lot of planning, a lot of hours going to the studios. So that's my biggest what you feeling for sure. And even with the high ankle sprain, I've been going to class every day so far. So
I was gonna ask.
Shout out to your boy. Yeah,
it's tough.
It's tough, but I just wrap that bitch up.
You taking spills on that yoga mat?
Nah, man, I'm pretty good. I'm like an 8-year veteran of yoga, so I'm pretty good.
Yeah.
So I'm not too worried about it. It's just I gotta adjust a few things. And
those high ankle sprains suck.
Yeah, it's brutal. So. It's a new fold into the challenge. I'll say that.
So I have seen a couple movies. Most recently, I think I already talked about May, December, but
yeah.
My wife and I just watched Past Lives.
Okay.
And it got nominated for some Golden Globes.
Yeah.
It's rightfully so. It's kind of like a romantic movie, but not quite, which is really cool to see. It's centered around a little bit of Korean culture. It's someone who immigrated from Korea to the United States and has a friend from her childhood, and they connect, and it's this Korean concept called Anyan, like you knew people from the past, your past lives, and you find each other in this current one. So real beautiful message, and it's not like in your face rom-com. There's more to it.
Yeah.
But it's rightfully getting some award buzz, so I was glad we watched it. I think next up for us is going to be, we have Iron Claw on our list, even though it's not super high on Oscars buzz odds lists.
Yeah.
But definitely interested in seeing it. Big fan of Jeremy Allen White, so
yeah,
love to see him and getting some love.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Just won a Golden Globe.
Saw that, yeah.
But a lot of them on our list, and we weren't able to see Oppenheimer before, so that's going to be next on our list because we can watch that from home too.
That's going to take a few sittings with the kid.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no kidding.
Totally worth it, though.
Sports related, what I'm feeling, the Cowboys finally put Jimmy Johnson in their Ring of Honor. Long overdue. So that was cool to see in that the game that ended controversially, that Lions game at halftime, they honored Jimmy Johnson, and it was a long time coming. But more importantly, what I'm feeling lately, personally, my son is about to turn 2 years old, which is crazy to me how quick time's gone.
I know, man.
Yeah, he's going to be a 2-year-old, and he's already started to act like it. Parents, you out there, even if you're not parents, you got little relatives that throw tantrums as toddlers. Everybody's experienced it at some point. It's real.
Yeah, man, my brother's right behind you, so he's literally like 1 day after Barrett. So
yep,
he's got a year and a day on him. So I'm sure everything you're experiencing, my brother will see that too.
Yep,
it's nuts.
And then also, pretty much any day now, we got another little man joining the fold. So that's what I'm feeling. If you number one podcast listeners don't hear from me in the next couple weeks, that's probably why. But we'll be back better than ever, and I'll be living my life on 3-hour rotations again with a newborn. But just so super pumped for that, and to see what will be my older son as an older brother.
That's so nuts, man.
Crazy, yeah. Rosh, you're an older brother, and I'm excited. I've obviously Vish's co-hosts on here. I've nothing but great relationships with my older brother, and then my honorary older brothers, and I'm excited to see my son Barrett assume that role and see how much our younger son assumes the role that I played as a little brother, and how Nick it was as a little brother. So the dynamic's gonna be fun to see. But
for sure,
definitely what I'm feeling coming up real soon.
Yeah, man.
Next couple weeks. So
good for Barrett. What a big month for him, man.
Big month, yeah. It's gonna be a big month. But yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Bro's gonna feel his first bout of jealousy.
Oh yeah.
In a few weeks. He's going to be like, who the hell is this little bitch?
It's all going to be centered around Mom, too.
Yep.
Steph's his person, so we'll see how that goes.
I remember that. That was like one thing I really remember, like, as an older brother. As it's like, But I just remember I was like, man, fuck this kid. I was like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
I was like, dude, took away all the attention. As a firstborn, man, you're used to all this attention and just like,
what do you even need this one
being
for?
the favorite, and then you're just like chopped liver, man. You're like, what the hell?
Yep.
It be your own people, man. That's all you got to know, Barrett. It always be your own people.
We're gonna try not to scar him too much.
I know. We'll keep the generational trauma to a minimum.
For sure. But number one podcast listeners, it's a good solid what you feeling. But you already know how I like to wrap up each episode. Let's hit that too much sense intro.
Yep.
All right. Number one podcast listeners, my too much sense message for this episode is to not confuse emotion with reaction. If you're quick to get heated, I can relate to that. Historically,
same,
big time, that type of person. Yeah, don't look to suppress your emotion. What you're actually looking to do is to manage how you react to those emotions. Maturity is figuring out and owning your emotions to channel them into appropriate actions and response. It's how you react to things that determines it. It's okay to be emotional. That's a positive, but channeling that emotion into the appropriate reaction is when you truly gain some maturity. And nobody's perfect all the time, but mastering that more often than not usually is a good sign of that maturity. So it's my too much sense for this week.
Great one, man. We should have heard that when we were like anywhere from like 5 to 20 years old. That would have helped.
It is true though, like until you're ready for that message,
yeah, for sure,
or you've been through enough, or probably ruined, a friendship or a significant other relationship or two, that truly hits home finally, and you start to kind of
it's almost a part of the coming of age story. It's like, go ahead and learn this lesson. Go ahead and play yourself.
So congratulations.
Exactly.
You played yourself.
You kind of got to get to that point.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. That wraps up this very special NFL playoff preview edition of the number one podcast in your headphones, Prem Brulee.
Yeah.
I've been your host, Premal Bhatt. That's been my co-host, Roshan Bhatt. We hope you enjoyed it. Hope you all enjoy NFL playoff season. And may your teams win, unless they're playing the Cowboys or Texans.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course, but respect, all due respect, of course.
All due respect.
You number one podcast listeners, I appreciate you very much. You already know the deal. Pass this episode along to a friend. Have them subscribe. Leave a positive review. And we'll talk to you next time.
Yes, sir. Peace.